video, we're going to look at file organization as well as how to download and install both R and RStudio if you're working on a Windows machine. So the very first thing that I want to talk about is a recommended way to organize your files for the course. So for this course, you are going to be downloading a bunch of files. You'll also be creating files, and for that reason, I highly recommend not working out of the downloads folder on your computer. I recommend creating a folder on your computer that's specifically for the work for this course. And again, this has to do with, in part, because of the way that R works. There's going to be a lot of files that are kind of created in the background, and you'll want to know where those files are. So if you have a dedicated folder on your computer, you'll always know where you'll be able to find everything. So let's talk about first how we can create that dedicated file. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to access what's called the File Explorer on my computer. And it may already be down at the bottom of your computer. It looks kind of like a little file folder. If you don't see that icon here, you can also click on the search. Sometimes it'll automatically appear, or if you type in File, you'll eventually get to File Explorer. And so this will open a window that looks something like this, and this is just a way for you to navigate through all the different folders and files that are on your computer. So for example, you'll see your downloads folder, which is sometimes when you download a file from online where it goes, but there's also lots of other ones. Now, if you don't already, I highly recommend using OneDrive. So OneDrive is a type of cloud storage. One of the benefits to using cloud storage is, especially if you work on different computers, if you save your files to OneDrive, then those files are available no matter which computer you're working on. And you can do that exclusively by going to the website, but you can also install OneDrive on your computer. That's what I've done here. And so if you download it to your computer, you can use the File Explorer, to see all of your different folders and files. And if you need any help with that and that's something that you want to do and you haven't done in the past, feel free to contact me and I'm more than happy to help you with that. So I use a lot of folders on my computer. You'll notice I've got one here called UK Classes. I would recommend creating a folder on your computer to store your coursework for your different classes. And so one way that you can do that is if you come up here, you can click on New Folder. That will create a new folder and you can name it whatever you want. I'm going to delete that one since I already have a folder for classes. So if I click on UK Classes, I teach a bunch of different classes, so you'll see all of these here. But the class that we're interested in is BST 535, so again, I'd make a folder for that. And then from here, you'll want to create some folders that have meaning for you. So you're going to have lecture notes as well as assignments in this course. So one way that you could do this is you could create a folder where you're going to put all of your assignments. You could create a separate folder for all of the notes. The course is divided into modules for each of the weeks. And so I typically think of it in terms of each of the different weeks, and then I store the material for each of those different weeks. So you'll see here that I have a folder for each of the different weeks for the course. And then, like I said, when you're working in Canvas, there's going to be lots of different files that you're going to want to download, and again, you'll want to know where they are on your computer. So when you're working in Canvas, you'll notice next to each of the file names, you'll see like this little download symbol. If you right-click on that, you'll see an option that says Save Link As. This will actually bring up another File Explorer, and this is where you can navigate on your computer. You can find that folder that you create. And so for example, this one's in week 2, and you could click here and save it there. So that way you'll know exactly where that file is. And again, I would recommend this method instead of just automatically downloading it to your computer in your downloads folder. This way you'll know where everything is for the course. Alright, so again, that's just a little bit about file organization. If you have questions about that, please let me know. Or if you're on a Mac, Macs work a little bit different, and I will have a separate video posted on Canvas to show you how to navigate files using a Mac. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is talk about how do we download and install both R and RStudio. They are two separate programs, and you are going to want both for this course. One way to think of it is that R, that's where you're actually going to download the language, and then RStudio is really an editor for that language. So similar to how we write in the English language, and one way that we could type up documents is using Microsoft Word. So Microsoft Word is the editor. So we're going to download R, which is the language, and then RStudio, which is the editor. Now the easiest way to do this is actually just to search for it. And so if you search just capital letter R, oops, sorry, it automatically went to Reddit, didn't mean to do that. There we go, R. You'll see that the R project for statistical computing comes up. So this is what you're going to want. And you'll notice there's an option here for download, and it says CRAN. So if you click here, it's then going to come up with a list of what are called CRAN mirrors. A simple way, or probably an oversimplistic way to think of this is, let's say you wanted to go buy some Oreos. It doesn't really matter if you go to Meijer or you go to Kroger to get the Oreos, you're going to get the same Oreos. This is similar. So the mirrors are basically different places that you download it from. It doesn't really matter which one you pick. I usually pick one here in the United States. So if we scroll down, you'll see there's several mirrors in the United States. And we'll do the one from Iowa, for example. That's going to bring you to the download and install. You'll notice there's a couple different options here. I'm working on a Windows machine for this video, so we're going to download R. And then from here, it says this is what you want to install R for the first time. If we click here, and then here will be the download. So you're going to click this. It's automatically going to download an executable file. You see that's the .exe. This will by default go into your downloads folder. That is perfectly fine. So once this gets finished downloading, you will want to click on it. It's going to ask you if you want to allow that app to make changes. Click yes. And then you'll start to see select setup language. And this will walk you through how to install R. Now I'm not actually going to do that on this computer because I already have R installed. All right, so the next thing we're going to need is RStudio. So again, we can Google that, and you'll see RStudio Desktop. Now just kind of a side note here, the company that created RStudio, the company name used to be RStudio, and they have recently changed their company name to be called Posit, but the application that you download is still called RStudio. And so you notice here you'll have an R and an install RStudio. Well, we just installed R, so you can actually skip step 1 here and go straight to the download RStudio Desktop for Windows. And similar with R, you're going to click on this. It's going to download an executable file. Once that downloads, you're going to click on it, and that's going to walk you through the setup. All right, once you have successfully downloaded both R and RStudio, if you click on the Windows button and you go down to the R here, you should see both a folder that says R and one that says RStudio. So you'll see I have lots of versions of R on my computer. You actually will never click on this one. Again, that just downloaded the language onto your computer. What we're really going to work in is RStudio. And so if we click on the RStudio, you'll see that there is an option for RStudio. You'll click on it. It might take it just a second, but once it comes up, oh, here we go. You will see a window that looks something like this. And as you can see here, I need to update my RStudio is why it's giving me this. So say remind me later. So you'll see something like this. And so we'll talk about later on in the course how to actually work with RStudio. But for here in this video, we just want to make sure that you have everything downloaded. So if you have any trouble with the download or the installation, please let me know. I'm more than happy to help in any way that I can.